Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Comics That Influence. I'm Jake Jacobs with Kurt Brugel, my partner in crime. We are the purveyors of the Making Turbo Pit Fighter podcast on YouTube, and this is our other channel, Comics That Influence, where we do some flip throughs, comics from our collection. I see that Kurt is going to be doing Monstermen today. And I'm going to be doing Dark Adventures featuring the Dark Angel. This is a comic that I picked up for $1 at a convention, and I'm fascinated by it. Never heard of it, never heard of the company, never heard of the artist, never heard of the character. So I'm going to be flipping through it, and I'm going to be exploring for the first time uh, what you're going to be seeing on screen. And as an art teacher, as art instructors, both of us are going to be commenting. So, what do you say we dig in? Hey, Kurt, I'm first today.
Yes, you are, sir. Take it away.
All right. Well, this caught my eye. This is not the same kind of thing you see every day. Darkline Comics. I looked this up on Wikipedia, or where am I on here? I went to Comics Price Guide, and according to them, they put out 4 different comics. One was called This Dark Adventures, 1986. This was the first one. Then they put out something called Alpha Wave in 87. It was a one shot. And they put out something called Cecil Kunkel, who is the one of the contributors. That was 87 and 88. It doesn't say how many issues. And then another one shot called Dark Side, and that is all they put out. So it looks like, I guess, 2 series and 2 one shots, and that was the extent of Darkline Comics starting in '86 when I was just getting out of high school. All right, so digging in, this is the first page here, and here's the Indicia page. Dark Adventures is out of Peru, Indiana, 1986. Production coordinator Pat Gabriel, who is the artist. The publisher was somebody by the name of F.I. Chagnon or Chagnon. That's the Darkline staff. Humor editor Charles Wagner. Where's the humor? And then there's a Danielle Gabriel who dedicated to. Okay, so the staff is 2 people, and then somebody's dedicated to. There's a publisher. All right, so I'm seeing a setup here. I don't see any text until you get down to the bottom, so that's always cool. It starts out with someone in the crosshairs. You got the hitman thing. Someone's being observed.
What year is this book?
86.
God damn.
This is the first offering by Darkline Publishing out of Peru, Indiana. And the artist we're going to find out is a guy by the name of Pat Gabriel, who also went by under some other names. He said they've been working on this for many months, and we believe we have achieved a modest success. So he says he shot somebody here. The guy slumps at the desk. There's no blood to speak of. Another day, another dollar. Who in hell? There's a shadow. It's time, punk. And here we're getting thrown off the building, Kurt. And only then do we realize it's Dark Angel. Signed, and there's no credits here, but it's signed at the bottom by Pat Gabriel. If my roommate had his way, that shithead would have been out on bail. Cursing was a big deal in the indies. You couldn't do that in Marvel. This looks like Buckler to me. This looks like somebody was like copying Rich Buckler or working with Rich Buckler. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. And it's also Ken Landgraf.
Right,
it's like a tighter Ken Landgraf. It's so cool.
The same milieu. So yeah, we're getting into some talking here and some setup. No one had the right to be the judge and the jury. It's a crock. You and I both know it. Cut the crap. We both got work to do. A little bit of standing around for me. Den means well, but still, good intentions in this case could be a matter of life and death. I don't know. That's a funny looking cigarette, if you ask me. So here's a nice establishing shot, and it just says park. And then I'm not sure what's going on here, but Angel has a gun to his head already. Mr. Lupino will pay a heavy bonus when I drag your dead ass in front of him. Oh yeah? Wapash!
Nice! That is so awesome.
Here we go.
Man, this is great.
Get up, punk. Right? I know, it's like and it's like on a little angle here that kind of like frames it. Like why? Why is this in a box on an angle in a thing? Like,
because it's cool, man.
So this guy's spending a little while on this. First, we see he's holding his bloody face here. It's gushing blood. There's like a puddle here down on the bottom. And then he's holding his bloody face again. Here it's still gushing, so he must be losing pints at this point. And then he just collapses. But wait, he's not done. He gets up again and gushing blood more. It's just coming out of him, but the puddle here on the bottom has shrunk. I love this comic.
This is fantastic.
He's pointing up at the guy, but he's gone. And only then do we see that this was a brick wall. This was a brick wall. We could only see the marbleized top of it. This looks very Kirby-esque right here.
Oh, yeah.
Kablam!
Swipe!
So he shoots this guy. It's got to be some kind of explosive gun. I wonder...
rocket launcher! Handheld rocket launcher.
Okay, chapter darkness follows. The cold, silent oblivion. The darkness of oblivion. So it's created, written, and illustrated by Pat Gabriel, and he signs it here too, in case you weren't convinced. Absent of life, death. That's usually how it works. Okay, but fading back up from blackness, we're coming back here.
That is so cool.
Where am I? And he says, I drug you out of the rubble. New word there. That's a new conjugation. Brought you home in a taxi. Like a cheap date. But it's getting harder to hide your tracks. So don't, wise ass. My butt's on the line too. Anyway, I like the use of the gray tone here. You're using some screens. You're using some Zipatone screens here a little bit. But also you're just getting the shading. And, that's it. They're adding interest here. I'll be gone a few days. Hold the fort? Sure. It's the next night. So the guy's got his clicker. He's watching TV and he's clicking the channels. He's watching Jason, then he's watching a war thing, then he's watching some Kirby dots. He goes to the curtain and out flops somebody. Oh no, it's his buddy Den. And he's about to hit the floor. Blew my cover. Paid the price. Hurt. Systems failed. Lupino's your man. I had the proof and lost. Take it easy. Asshole. I could have helped. Get him. You know what? I think that's the problem. This guy went out on his own and he wasn't properly equipped with the, what is this? This is like the studded wrist cover.
Heavy metal, baby. Heavy metal,
and
baby.
He's got shiny black. This looks like it was all done with brush, right? This guy was trying to be handy with a brush. You can see this is like probably just moved from pencil straight to brush. He's going outside here. You got the people with mohawks, that are popular in the street. By the way, he just destroyed his own door with some kind of superhuman strength. So now he's got to pay to fix that. I don't know if that's strategically in his interest. But he's going down the street and he's coming into a pool hall and he needs some answers now. And then two bodies go flying out the front window. So this reminds me just of Daredevil, going into that little that little dockside bar. You, huh? By the way, this guy looks like he might be patterned after Lemmy. I'm wondering if this is patterned after Lemmy Kilmister. Lupino. He's in the penthouse, 8th and 59th, honest. He did what? Damn it, you guys couldn't stop him? No, it's time, Lupino. Boy, this guy just sung like a bird. All he had to do was put his little hand on his throat, and it's all over. It can't be. Guards, guards. Da boss is in trouble. How'd he get in here? Here we get a little clunky. You know, as you reduce the size, it's harder to draw accurately. It's easier to draw bigger. But yeah, I'm definitely seeing some Kirby and Landgraf and Buckler influences here. This is like a cool heyday of indie comics, you know. Great black and white on this page here, right? Like just the right amount of everything. Of here, I mean, I'm not in love with this guy's storytelling. His story, the pacing is pretty slow. The storyline is kind of predictable. The guy's after him. He killed his roommate, and then he smashes off his door. So here, the guy, he's punching some guys, and here he's choking the guy. This guy actually kills his own friend, Friendly Fire. Holy shit! I killed Mr. Lupino, but the blood spot is up against the wall. This is good, but that's it, man. I'm not even gonna hear what you have to say. Just gonna punch him here with these Kirby lines. Help me, please. Samatter, Lupino, hurt? Can pay you. Help, please. Sure, Lupino, I'll help you out of your misery. And then he's rearing back with his spiked gloves on. That's all we see. Then we get an establishing shot. The next morning, Lupino screwed up again. Paper claims one of his own men went wacko and shot him. I know better. It was that damned Angel. His ass is mine. Next, Angel and the Bad Men. Don't miss it.
Whoa.
Oh, wait, there's a backup story here.
Yeah.
So this must be from the humor editor here.
There it is.
There's a one-page strip, and it's signed C. Wagner. So if you get a one-page strip put into your comic, it's Charles Wagner, then you're not just the contributor, you are the humor editor.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see any other humor in this thing. Here is probably something that Pat Gabriel had laying around. Looks really nice so far. It's Sea Thugs. Oh no, wait! This actually says illustrated by Richard Lynn. So it's completely different artist. My bad. A lot of different Zipatone screens here. So I think the guy's emptying out the drawer using all these, and you can see how you get the conflicting patterns here. I love that, the moire. Well, we're out to sea, and it looks like we're in the revolutionary times, or maybe that's like Napoleon or something. And I don't know, all of a sudden there's a guy, he's shot here. I guess this is like back in the old days of like muskets. But next thing you know, pirates are coming aboard without too much, sound effects or anything. A lot of little Zipatone dots. We get some action shots here, but by the middle of the page, they're outnumbered 10-1. You may plunder the blasted cargo, but spare my crewmen. Agreed. Lay down your arms. Give your allegiance to the Sea Thugs. I like this panel. This is cool. Like
sweet.
Neil, right? Some of this is clunky with the screens. I mean, I think like they were really overdoing it. Whoa!
Look
what
at
just
that.
happened?
Wow.
What just happened?
Wow.
So this is a pin-up signed by Richard Lynn here. You got the ogre in the back. You got the the supporting character, but this is a pirate queen here.
Nice.
It says "Neil led to the pirate queen." His eyes are bulging and the giant sweat balls running down. So this reminds me of like the undergrounds. I think we're in underground world here, with this artist. He broke into the indies, and that's it. Kneel to the pirate queen is all you get. It's like 4 pages? 1, 2, 3. That's a 4-pager. You don't see too many of those.
Great term, page turner. Great page turner.
Yeah,
he got us.
This also reminds me maybe of a swipe from Brunner in Quack magazine, stuff like that, right? So here we go. I Know You're in There, by Pat Gabriel, who likes to sign things twice. So this is him on his other strip. I don't know. This looks like the same kind of thing, like guys that say "da boss." And whoa, what just happened? So this is a two-pager. I know you're in
Two-page.
there. He's looking through the trash cans, and out pops this giant Groar, and just in silhouette destroys the guy. Moments later, there's one thing I forgot to tell your boss. The accident did have its favorable side effect. So,
It's like a
Kurt, you're
two-page
always talking
gag.
about, yeah, you're always talking about one pagers. How about a two
Yeah,
pager?
that's a sweet one, and on a turn. Really good placement.
Here's this looks like maybe like a cover that didn't work out. This is the Dark Angel with these interesting supporting characters.
Yeah.
This looks like it's modeled after somebody.
Snake
This
Plissken.
right. This is Gabriel with Adams. So this was Adams and Gabriel teamed up on this. And then I think this is going to close us out. In the end, we got a character named Stone. This is Pencil's Marty Edwards. And the finished art is Pat Gabriel. So I guess he's inking here. And there's this character. This is a little cartoony, but this character here, Stone. He looks like the Thing or the Golem, maybe. He's impervious to bullets, but he doesn't like it. He's grabbing these guys' guns. He's got a big one. He's got big booties on, big like long boots. He's busting through the walls. He's going out into the fence here, out into the cold. Looks like maybe Weapon X references there, and then he just disappears into the quicksand, or he's falling into the soup. Maybe the footprints lead to that glowing area. How in the hell has it vanished? Damn you, freak! You've eluded me for now, but I'll track your ugly ass to eternity's edge, and then you're mine. So, I think maybe these backup stories were kind of like the training ground, and then they started the Dark Angel, stuck it in the back. Here's a pinup from the character Stone. I guess it never really went anywhere. And then here's another pinup of the Dark Angel facing his reflection with some object de art in the foreground. This looks like some Bernie Wrightson influence here, or the crouching demon gargoyle on the top of the mirror. And finally, our back cover. Next issue, he's back, the most uncanny unhero of all. Gotta be honest, the story didn't really make him, set apart from too many heroes. I don't know. That was Dark Adventures featuring the Dark Angel and the work of Pat Gabriel. And just to finish us out here, Wikipedia says he also went by the name of Angel Gabriel, sometimes credited as Pat Gabriel or Pasquale D. Gabriel. Born in 1956, died 2016. He was best known for his comic book adaptation of Space Giants and a professional wrestling manager and promoter, renowned for and a professional renowned for his role as the Dark Angel. Okay, so he played a character in professional wrestling called Dark Angel, apparently, according to Wikipedia. Born in Brooklyn, let's see, he held fan con conventions in the 70s in Norfolk, Virginia, hosting such guests as Wally Wood and Mike Kaluta. He learned the basics of the art trade in the early 70s in his Virginia Beach studio. His career started when he left his home in Tidewater, Virginia, and sojourned to New York City, assisting Rich Buckler at Marvel Comics on uncredited work, including Fantastic Four, Deathlock, and other assignments. What did
Mystery
I say?
solved. Mystery solved. That's awesome.
By 75, man. He had graduated to producing covers and splash pages for Marvel's British department while still working with Buckler. His first credited work was DC Comics Cobra number 4 in 1976, which I had some of those Cobras. I don't know why I had those. Those were kind of cool. a comic which was already 4 weeks late when it was assigned to him for, quote, layouts and pacing. He then became acquainted with Dennis Cowan in 77. In 78, he relocates to Wabash, Indiana. After a stint as a t shirt artist, he acquired merchandising rights to Space Giants, a U.S. adaptation of Osamu Tezuka's Japanese comic Magma Taishi. In 79, Gabriel's company FBN, which standed for Fantasy Book Novels, published a comic book adaptation of the first 4 episodes of Space Giants. Nice if you can get it, man. In 81, he had a stint with Leader Comics, returns to New York City, where he worked again with Buckler and met Mark Teixeira, who he shared a studio with, to
Wow.
produce the Thunder Agents for JC Productions. Eventually, Gabriel, Dennis Cowan, and fellow artist Trevor Varn Eden shared an apartment in the Chelsea Hotel. That's where Johnny Thunders. That's where Johnny Thunders stayed, and where Sid and Nancy were. Um, there, Gabriel designed the original Beast Machine characters for Strong Gen Mayhem's Power Lords. The action figures would later be released by Revell. Here's a paragraph about his professional wrestling and his Dark Angel character. So that he had one foot in the wrestling world, and then in the 90s he returned to comics with Dennis Cowan in Milestone Comics, which was the black owned imprint. They got some seed money from I think that was like a DC offshoot, right? Inking titles such as Static and Hardware. He did a 3 cover run for Impact titles, including The Web, produced several books for Boneyard Press, including an adaptation of the stories of the Billy the Kid and Ed Gein, the serial killer. Another issue of Space Giants, which printed an original Mark Teixeira story. And then he was in 96. He was approached to publish a line of comics as executive editor. The California firm LK Management, um, utilizing the talents of Willie Peppers, Greg Theakston, Jeff Newman, and Byron Black, he set up the Hyper X studio. And from this arrangement, the Pyramid Comics line was born. So this guy went on and on. Um, he goes back into wrestling in 1998. He reprised a television show, Power Slam. He recruited Big Bang Comics co-creator Chris Ecker as announcer. A lot of weird tie-ins here. Um, his last work seems like he was doing some merchandising with Space Giants. He was granted all rights to the except for television airings. The owners of Space Giants. A court battle ensued between Power Slam and Lakeshore, whatever. Okay, so stuff happened. The last thing he mentions is 2002. He collaborated with Richard Green to make Exal Core comic released by Tomorrow's Publishing. Only month before Green's untimely passing due to lung cancer, Gabriel also contributed an article on hidden messages in Bill Everett's inking of Jack Kirby's art for Thor. How about that? I would love to read that article. And then it has his bibliography. So that's him. This is just the beginning of his career, and he went on to greater things. Or maybe he had done his greater work for DC before this, and this is his later work. So you have the greater work, then the later work, and going back and forth between comics and professional wrestling. So that's my report.
It's awesome. It's awesome. All right. Well, I have the Gary Gianni's collection of Monstermen and other scary stories. I've been wanting to show this off for a while, and I think it's even more appropriate to do so because it ties directly in with me revising my Crumb the Barbarian edition. I
Okay.
got back in the comic books in 2015 and got into this ballpoint pen art making. I was doing a lot of life drawing. I was doing a lot of fantasy art too. and I was also working on a comic book, Crown the Barbarian, who's a public domain character. I found, getting back into comic books, this book, look at this end page. This is just, this alone got me crazy. Um,
Yeah,
Gary
a lot of
Gianni,
black and white.
in short, is a real. He's really making homage to the classic illustrators, the golden age illustrators, back from Howard Pyle, N.C. Wyeth, and particularly an illustrator. I'm going to throw a couple of images up. Joseph Cole, 1881 to 1921, pulp illustrator, more towards the magazines that were going on in the 10s and 20s that would end up becoming the pulps in the 30s. Pen and ink, real etchy style. And, Gary Gianni puts this together as backups to Mike Mignola's Hellboys in Dark Horse. But these stories and the way he's black and white outlining them, or laying them out is just, it's masterful. I'm really not going to say a lot in the way of critique, but just the way he goes about making these comics, it's astounding. It's a testament
Some of
to
those faces look a little Art Nouveau, maybe. That.
some, but I think he's using an immense amount of photo referencing, which is fine. And then he's got to fudge a lot and everything. But the way he can describe form by just making lines is what I was after in this. I was doing a bastardized version of it in pens, ballpoint pens, G2 pilots to be specific. Um, and it's the same thing. I have no spotted blacks. That means I'm not using a black marker to just fill things in. I wanted to figure out how to tell a story this way. He's doing it. I mean, just right up to making his own blacks. You can still see a little bit of the white. So it's, once again, it's not just, all right, flat black, boom. He's building up the blacks to get there. You know, even to the place where, the white ends up holding service to the black shape, this white shape to the black shape, to this action, to back to the black shape, to all this rendering in here and the form. It's ridiculous. It's almost like he knew what Bernie Wrightson was sort of leaving out of his work, and he was kind of like sidecarring to Bernie Wrightson. Uh, you know, it's just so well done. It's. I just wanted to get this on the channel and
Yeah,
give him some setup. And the story itself, I have read it in my quick version where it's kind of like more looking at the pictures and then stopping and trying to find out who people are and everything. But just dumbfounding, dumbfounding.
reminds me a little bit of Kaluta, a little bit of
Yes,
Windsor McKay.
yes, yes.
A lot of influence. Really good, like rich pages. Like there's so much on the page. This is what Marvel and DC are not doing. Like they're
No,
not
no,
putting enough
no.
enough
This
stuff
is
on each
art.
page.
This is
Yeah,
art, art, art,
yeah,
art. It's not comic books.
def-
This is art. This
right.
is, and he's using the medium, the storytelling medium, in these, let's say, spot illustrations and word balloons and sound effects in a very art illustration way. It's
It's
just
good stuff.
it's
So that's like
fantastic
a
stuff.
that's like a collected treasury edition or something.
I don't know Treasury, but it was a rumor has it I heard that Mike Mignola just, I think, adores Gary Gianni's work. By the way, Gary Gianni, I believe, still is the Prince Valiant artist for the syndicated Prince Valiant comic strip that's airing somewhere, in newspapers around the
Yeah,
country. Um, but I think he just really wanted to give Gary a place to flourish, to make these like Lovecraftian
Yeah.
comics come to life, which were like in balance with his work, but his work is so stark in contrast. So it's almost like he was doing Mike Mignola was doing Gary a favor to have him as a backup feature in his Hellboy comic to almost like create a balance and weight and artistry, which is just genius. It's just
Yeah.
genius. I mean, this page alone is crazy.
Yeah.
Look at
The
this. I
the
mean,
octopus.
he's playing with Howard Pyle and NC Wyeth already, you know. But then
Hmm.
he's just grooving. Oh, look at this. Come on.
Good stuff.
It's amazing stuff. And yes, you're right, Jake. I'm going to piggyback on your previous little statement. Nobody's doing this. I mean, I can't say nobody. There are people. Europeans are, Japanese manga artists are, but when you really kind of tick the boxes in American comic books, A, not a lot of people doing this level of work. B, not a lot of people are interested in buying it in America. It's got to be full color. It's got to be graphic. It's got to be candy store colored. But this is where I reside. I will always find somebody doing stuff like this and support. So,
Yeah.
but
Nice one. Well, I gotta get rolling today.
right,
So
right, right, right.
this is a really good rich stuff. So Gary Gianni's Monstermen and other scary stories. I wish my preview was as good as the final artwork because I can only see it so, but I can see enough of it. Um, yeah. So we got some good comics today. I mean, maybe some power comics on my end, but some good stuff on your end. We got the high and the low and everything in between. And if you guys
I
tuning,
always love doing the title card for our thing because it's just so much how you and I are as characters working together in
yeah,
comics, and it's great. So,
some of the juxtapositions we
it's
have are
it's
really
awesome.
interesting.
It's
Yeah.
awesome, Jake. All right. I will see you next Sunday, my friend, and have a great week. And to all those who are watching and listening to us, thank you for your support. Hit us in the community tab, which has a poll and a lot of conversations going there. Very proud of it. Every day I put a polling question having to do with whether the comics that we're looking at, but also making comics and reading them and buying them and selling them and so on and so forth. So please be
Right
a
on.
part of our community. But other than that, that's what I got, Jake. I will see you next week.
Next week, guys. Bye.